Hvis vi seiler rundt da kan de. Started.
There you go, this is the alternate version. Tiny rig, put the mizzen on instead of the main. Sitting inside, nice and easy, very beautiful. No trouble when the gusts come, just keep on going. Yeah, sure, we'd be going much faster if I had the big rig on, and also maybe going for a spin. Whereas, to be honest, I doubt it's going to happen today. But we're covering ground, doesn't need a big rig. Funny enough, I was reading in a book about canoeing from 1870 that there's a big split between the big rig lightweight canoes of America, where people sat on the deck or on sliding seats, and the cruising canoes, they tended to be heavier, have smaller rigs, more for cruising, for the sitting in type sailing that we're doing here. And that was quite interesting to find out about that. Because what I think the Waterlust is it's a sit-in hull with a sit-on-top rig. So the other thing that I made myself, you can see just down here, is a seat, so that I can sit up in the middle for sailing. So that was in this book it described it as an essential piece of equipment for canoeing. That you should be able to sit in the middle of the boat, and I've noticed that I've often found myself wanting to sit in the middle of the boat and been unable to do that. So I built one of those just for an experiment, but with just the mizzen up as the main. I am finding it very nice to sit down here. I don't need to sit up at all, even with a bit of breeze. So I thought that was quite interesting. In terms of the cruising rigs as well, on the sit-in English cruising canoes, they were talking about 70 square feet, and we got 90 on the Waterlust, I think, 92 or something like that. I need to check. So interesting. Whereas some of the big American boats were, with their batwing sails, were putting much more sail up. I think even up to 150 square feet. But these were the pure racing boats, not for cruising at all. And they had very light boats, whereas the Brits tended to put a bit of ballast in theirs, at least to start with. And they kind of split off into the Humber yawl type developments, which are basically little cruising yachts with just double enders. It's not quite true. Whereas the American boats stayed light and with huge rigs and were just for racing. And then you had this sad thing, which is where optimization of something stops it being fun for everyone else. And the sort of emphasis on the racing and the hard sailing that was going on with the American racing boats made them very hard for anyone else to sail, unless you were a sportsman, a bit of an acrobat. They said, kind of keep these things going, and then it made it no fun for most people. And because that's where the emphasis was on this racing side of things, then the sport dwindled. I understand it also had quite a lot to do with the bicycles becoming more easily available. Maybe it was easier just to hop on a bike for an afternoon out rather than going to the trouble of getting a boat. But very interesting. It was interesting to read that article, or that book. I've not finished it yet. Anyway, so I thought we'd get the boat out today. The kids have been out on the paddleboard. They had a lot of fun. So I'm getting sneaking in a little sail now. Anyway, the Waterlust. Is it a hybrid of two slightly incompatible elements? The sit-in hull and the big rig. It certainly seems to be doing absolutely fine with just the mizzen, which is only about 30 square feet or something. Is it even that big? 18? I can't remember. I have to look at the plans. Is it 18 in the mizzen? I can't remember. I'll check. Anyway. Beautiful day, lovely to be out on the water. If I don't have to bring the whole big mast with me, it's also a lot lighter.